Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Regarding the findings of a 2022 COVID study he contributed to, British immunologist Professor Danny Altman stated, "Most people, even when triple vaccinated, had 20 times less neutralizing antibody response against Omicron than against the initial Wuhan strain. Importantly, Omicron infection was a poor booster of immunity to further Omicron infections." Vegan, the final solution to steer away from the pandemic spiral, part 1 of 4. Continue watching to find out more.
No to vegan, 'cause you don't want to understand the part that says, "Be thou not among meat eaters and wine drinkers" in the Bible.
Assalamu alaikum means hello in Uzbek, the official language of Uzbekistan. Graceful viewers, my name is Otabek. The warm-hearted people of Uzbekistan pray that the compassionate vegan diet protects you from emerging diseases and brings long-lasting peace to the world. Welcome to our 4-episode show entitled Vegan, the final solution to steer away from the pandemic spiral. In the series, we will look at the tremendously harmful impacts of COVID-19 on humanity and the potential severe side effects of COVID vaccines. Today, in part 1 of 4, we are going to talk about how this coronavirus is gaining ground to cause extensive infections worldwide. When the pandemic had just begun, scientists and public health experts made predictions about COVID-19 based on their prior experiences with other viruses, hoping that the majority of people would eventually develop immunity to stop the pathogen from spreading. However, this optimistic scenario of reaching herd immunity is far from what the statistics are telling the experts. Herd immunity is a situation where the transmission of a virus will discontinue because most of the people that the virus encounters are resistant to it. Based on this scenario, a smaller population of persons who are susceptible to the virus may be protected by the herd of resistant people around them because the chance of catching the virus is greatly reduced. Nevertheless, herd immunity is based on some underlying assumptions. First, the resistant herd must continue to retain its immunity against the virus. Second, resistant or vaccinated individuals cannot transmit the virus. Unfortunately, scientists have learned over the past 2 years that these assumptions are out of the equation for stopping the transmission of COVID-19. Although the strategy to conduct a widespread vaccination of the public has worked for certain viruses, such as smallpox and polio, it does not appear to be an effective approach to the pathogen that causes COVID. Vaccine and public health experts have learned that for COVID-19, Both infection and vaccine-induced immunity wane relatively fast. Because of the short-lived immunity, vaccinated people can still pass on the virus to others, especially when facing rapidly mutating new variants. Those who were infected with the BA1 or BA2 subvariants are still susceptible to the highly contagious BA5 strain. As BA5 has become dominant worldwide, it could add anyone to the long list of those who have experienced reinfection.
We begin with the breaking news on President Biden's health. Late today, the White House announcing that the president had again tested positive for COVID after 4 days of negative tests.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just tweeting out that he has tested positive for COVID-19. He says he feels okay and that he'll be following public health guidelines. Now, we recall Trudeau just returned from the Summit of the Americas in California on the weekend. This would be the second time the Prime Minister has tested positive.
In principle, vaccines work by introducing an inactivated version or less harmful parts of a virus or bacteria into a person's body to induce an immune response. One kind of response prompts the body to make antibodies, which bind to virus particles and inactivate invaders. Because antibodies can latch onto the virus before it finds its next host, they help prevent its transmission. Antibody-induced immunity begins to wane after 3 to 6 months, but the immunity remains to a lesser degree due to a second immune response, also known as the cell-mediated response. It prompts the body to make longer-lasting memory B cells and T cells. The memory cells remain dormant until they encounter the same pathogen again. However, it may take them about 2 weeks to start producing antibodies. SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID, has a short incubation period where the time between one is infected and symptoms begin to appear. The original strain had an incubation period of around 5.2 days. With the Alpha variant, it took about 5 days for one to be symptomatic, and for Beta, around 4.5 days. The recent Delta and Omicron strains are even shorter, 4.4 and 3.4 days, respectively. This means the memory cells cannot react quick enough following an infection to immediately protect us, and we can further spread the coronavirus.
What we will be when God's kingdom comes on earth are a people of freedom, not a people who utilize battery cages, gestation crates, hooks, and chains. The Reverend Lauren Lisa Ng, vegan.
We will pause a moment for a constructive message and be right back to further explore the immune response to a virus vaccine. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
Warning: sensitive content.
Welcome back to Vegan, the final solution to steer away from the pandemic spiral. Part 1 of 4 on Supreme Master Television. Because memory cells normally take about 2 weeks to act, the virus will already have a head start by the time an infected person starts showing symptoms. Regarding the findings of a 2022 COVID study he contributed to, British immunologist Professor Danny Altman stated, "Most people, even when triple vaccinated, had 20 times less neutralizing antibody response against Omicron than against the initial Wuhan strain. Importantly, Omicron infection was a poor booster of immunity to further Omicron infections." Each new subvariant has evolved to develop some transmission advantage over the prior one. Experts now think that herd immunity isn't realistic for COVID-19, and the idea of living with the virus underestimates the devastating side effects of the condition. Over the past 2 years, scientists have gathered considerable knowledge regarding the disease, and according to an article in the Journal of Korean Medical Science, COVID will continue to threaten us for many generations.
But let's be very clear, 50% of the people who died from the Omicron surge were older, vaccinated.
In a July 2022 interview with Fox News Channel, Dr. Deborah Birx, the White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator under President Donald Trump, stated of the COVID vaccines, "I knew these vaccines were not going to protect against infection, and I think we overplayed the vaccines." Dr. Devere Aran, an expert in health statistics from the Technion Israel Institute of Technology, has said that even if we assume an imaginary vaccine could confer us with 90% protection from COVID, if before the vaccine you met at most one person, and now with vaccines you meet 10 people, you are back to square one. Scientists have warned that animal people to human disease outbreaks are expected to rise in the future. The World Health Organization, or WHO, estimates that 75% of newly emerged infectious diseases are zoonotic, meaning that pathogens have jumped from animal persons to humans. Zoonotic diseases account for 60% of all infectious diseases in humans. Animal people factories, as well as increasing population densities, international travel, and deforestation further aggravate the rise of zoonotic diseases. However, the situation can be quickly turned around if individuals adopt the noble and peaceful vegan way of life. On July 29th and August 2nd, 2022, our most beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai called Supreme Master Television team members to check on their well-being and graciously shared important messages on turning vegan.
It's everywhere. I told people, please be careful now. You have to turn vegan now to protect yourself. And I want to say to everybody, this is my last offer, last call. If you turn vegan and repent sincerely, I will really take you to heaven, guarantee, within 6 months from today.
Wow.
As the last call.
Wow.
I won't be allowed to do much more than that. So 6 months is what heaven negotiated with me. Originally, I was only 1 month.
Understand, Master.
That's that, nah? C'est la vie. That's it. That's what it is.
Yes, Master. So why not longer than 6 months, Master?
Because the karma of the world is so heavy. I told you it's shaken heaven and earth. And the human race has been given many, many warnings, many, many leniencies, and much repeated forgiveness. And they don't change. The humans don't change. So whoever doesn't change has to go their way.
Yes, Master.
Not the heaven's way. Heaven cannot accept this type of behavior. A cruel and uncompassionate way. No love, no kindness. Killing anything just to fill their stomach. Or just go killing anything, anybody, just to steal their land, their food, their property, or their country, whatever.
Yes, I understand, Master.
Just because they have power, they have murdering machines.
Yes, Master.
So if heaven continues to be lenient, then humans continue to be this barbarous way. That's why.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
It was the last call. And I even have been bargaining with that to get that 6 months. Otherwise, they told me 1 month only.
Yes, Master.
All right. So it's up to humans now. I've done my best.
Yes,
Master.
Well, we're just wondering, after the 6 months, is the world going to accelerate to more destruction?
Yeah. It looks like so.
Let the world now unite to end the pandemic and restore hope and a bright future for future generations through the vegan lifestyle.
Vegan, rescue yourself from hell.
Friendly viewers, thank you for your company on today's program. Please join us again on Saturday, October 29th for Vegan, the final solution to steer away from the pandemic spiral, part 2 of 4, when we will examine detrimental side effects of COVID-19 vaccines. Up next is Supreme Master Chinkai's plea for humans to awaken and know right from wrong, part 6 of 7, on Between Master and Disciples. Right after noteworthy news, may God's boundless love be showered upon you always.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/show.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/show.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/show.
Rancangan kami menawarkan banyak bahasa. Sila kunjungi suprememastertv.com/kehadapan schedule dan suprememastertv.com/kehadapan show.